Hello, Walter. It's Ben. Oh, you're asleep. Sorry. No, look. I left a guy in front of your house about half an hour ago. Said his car broke down. That's right. A foreigner. Huh? Nobody, huh? Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, huh? Go back to sleep. That Greek.
Hey, this is indeed Walt from the Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
This morning with a bad hangover, and my penis was missing again. This happens all the time. It's detachable. This comes in handy a lot of the time. I can leave it home when I think it's going to get me in trouble, or I can rent it out when I don't need it. But now and then I go to a party, get drunk, and the next morning I can't, for the life of me, remember what I did with it. First I looked around my apartment and I couldn't find it. So I called up the place where the party was. They hadn't seen it either. I asked them to check the medicine cabinet, because for some reason I leave it there sometimes, but not this time. So I told them if it pops up to let me know. I called a few people who were at the party, but they were no help either.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Yes, it's iWalter. And by the way, when I got that call, you know, I'm not, what was it? I'm not Greek. I'm Italian. So hello. I don't know why they think I'm Greek. You know, hey, you wake me up when I'm trying to sleep, and then you call me a Greek. I think it was Greek. Isn't Greece the country that want belly up on, you know, from basically having no money? Yeah, I'm Italian. I'm not Greek. Hey, there's a difference. Trust me. Well, maybe not for me, because my penis is so small. Yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny. That intro, I used a couple different things tonight. It's 2:30 right now, and it's June 9th. One thing I just want to tell you first, I kind of did part of this, like, when I had some time at work. I had a little bit of time tonight to kind of do some show, you know, not show prep, but yeah, kind of do some show prep, you know, finding articles and just pull them up when I get home. And also how I put that segment together. And just to give you a heads up, I do have something. Let me just make sure I do this correctly. Make sure I split it. Yeah. Yeah, I got a segment today. Rush Limbaugh's on vacation this week. So he had different people cover different days of his show. So I was listening to 2 days now. What would that be? Today is what? I can't even remember one day from the next. Wow, it's already Thursday. It's hard to believe that. It's Thursday morning. So Tuesday morning, I was listening to Tuesday morning show, or afternoon, because Rush comes on 12 o'clock in the noon time. And he had this guy, which I never heard of him before. I've heard of him from, you know, covering Rush's shows. Buck Sexton. And the guy does not match his voice. You look at the pictures of Buck Sexton. He does not. It doesn't. His face and his voice just don't seem to be the same person, if that makes any sense. But he had a really interesting segment on today. You know, on Tuesday, is that? So I was like, you know what? I got to take, it was on hour or two of Buck Sexton covering for Rush, that he said something that was like really caught my attention. I was like, okay, I'm going to do a rip of this. And to give you a warning, it's another really long one. It's about 7.5 minutes, if not longer. I've been really taking big rips of different things. And to give you a heads up, maybe I should just knock this out now. This one story. My friend the other day, he got something from the Daily UK Mail he had, posted on my Facebook page. And that's where I got the idea, because I took that song from, he put it up actually too, Detatchable Penis. It was an old song from, God, it's hard to believe I was in college when that song came out, I guess. And he made a joke of it, my friend. He put up this article from this little kid. It says, horrifying moment, 3-year-old boy's penis is ripped off after getting his pants tangled in an escalator. I was just like, scratch my head, how the fuck did that happen? And I was like, I couldn't make sense of how this kid got his penis stuck in an escalator. I thought it was an elevator because I really did not read it. But the whole point was, it's not funny for that little kid who got his penis ripped off. Obviously, his penis is a lot larger than mine, because if he got it caught in the escalator, I wouldn't have that problem. It wouldn't reach that far down. So, yeah, just so you know, the video was from, it's a promo video too, it was from King Missile, Detachable Penis. But I swear that song came out when I was in college. I remember hearing that years ago. So it's not a new song, but when he put that up, I just couldn't help it. It's like not a very good joke, but I just had to, make a joke out of it, put it in my show, the Detachable Penis song. I don't know if that was on the up and up, because I'm taking somebody else's source of music. I'm playing it though. I'm not making any profit on it. I'm not making any money on any of the stuff I do when I do these podcasts. I'm basically in the negative version area of money. I'm like in debt for making these shows. So minus people who may listen to it, a half a dozen people, I'm making zero profit, just to let you know. So anyway, it said this boy, once again, he was 3 years old, sat down on a moving escalator, and his pants got tangled, and he could not get up. Well, I wouldn't have that problem. My pants would come off, but there would be nothing else getting tangled in there. And the escalator crushed his genitals. A rescue team worked for 30 minutes to rescue. This is not very cool. I'm sorry. Rescue the screaming child. He was then taken to Malaysia Taipan Hospital, and his condition is unknown. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I truly feel bad for this kid. I'm not that much of a freaking prick, but and if the shoe was on the other foot and it was me who had if that would ever happened, honestly, it would not be an issue for me. That my genitals got, I'm sorry, I can't help it, that my genitals got crushed in an escalator, I would be crying like a baby too. Well, you know what? This is even a worse joke. But maybe the kid, if he ever had any thoughts at that young age, because, nowadays these kids are, they seem to be able to make a decision right when they come out of the womb, like, hey, wait a minute, I came out the wrong gender. This won't be a problem for him because he's pretty much like a woman now, right? He doesn't have balls or a penis, so he'll just be God, I can't remember what they used to call those. There was a thing they used to do, I think, what do you call it, castrate kids. Would that be considered a castrato? They would cut the kid's penis, not their penis off, but their balls, so they'd have that high voice. I think they did that just for, because basically boys would play female parts in plays and stuff. I forget where it came from, but I think it's called a castrato. Which, the root word would be castrate, so to speak. It's funny, I didn't want to do this, but I'm seeing all these freaking stories now. I am going to play that 7-minute segment if you like it or not, 7.5 minutes, because it's really good, by the way. again, it's one of those that are just right up my alley of what I talk about, my concerns. And, I mean, I hate to tell you, the biggest concern I have right now is, this is just my negativity thinking this way, but I really think the fact that Hillary Clinton was able to come this far and be successful, through basically being as corrupt as she is and come out on top on the Democratic side, I think she's going to actually get it. And that's going to be a really serious issue. Now, for those who are Hillary supporters, me saying that, they're going to be happy to hear me say that. Like, well, wow, you really think she's going to win? Yeah, actually, I'm afraid she might. The problem is, I mean, you're hearing even what Buck Sexton says, but it's bad enough right now that we've had, we will have 8 years of a disaster with God, I'm sorry, I'm just drawing a blank. I apologize. With what's been going on with President Barack Obama. But if she gets in for one term, it's almost a sure deal that she's going to get in, a sure shot deal, she's going to get in for 2 terms. So we're not going to have, somebody made a joke on Facebook. They said, we had Obama set it up and put our country in the, basically in the shitter for the first 8 years. Now we're going to have Hillary. If she got in, she's going to flush it. She's going to flush the crap that he had accumulated. Put in our country in the shitter. She's just going to finish it off by pushing the lever to flush it down. And you know what? I hate to say it, it's kind of absolutely true. So that really concerns me, by the way. I do want to play that. There's a story actually I saw today, by the way. There's a lot of stories. I'm seeing more, which normally I don't see that many. This time I do. This one was pretty funny because I was looking at pictures while I'm talking of Caitlyn Jenner playing golf in some goofy skirt or whatever. He looks like a man still. He's built like really bulky and muscular. He looks like a man with women's breast, tits. And it just looks really scary actually too. And his whole body, his whole physique, I don't care how much you try to make him look like a woman. He's just, and he's like, wasn't he in the 60s or something? I can't remember, but he's up there in age. So that's actually really scary, too. He looks like, not even like a she-man. He just looks like a man that got breasts put on his chest and he just let his hair grow out. Fortunately, he has a lot of hair, but, Anyway, it's been speculated. This whole thing is a shenanigans. Not with Caitlyn Jenner, but I was going to wait to tell this story, but I'll talk about it now. And it was like somehow Richard Simmons just like disappeared off the face of the planet. Like everybody was looking for him. So they said what he was probably doing. This is how bad the Daily Mail has gotten, the newspaper, UK Daily Mail. They said that now they found him, and it seems like reason it was in hiding was because he was getting a sex change operation done. And he was getting hormone shots for the past couple weeks. So I see this, and it's like the most ridiculous thing. They show a picture of Richard Simmons. He's got a wig on, and he's dressed up like a woman. But the man was always really wacko. Sorry to say that. And, he's done some crazy stuff, but I don't think, I don't even know what he stands for because I don't know if he's gay or straight or just a mess. I would take the last one as being what he is. Man has no clue what he's. He's rich, I guess, from doing all those exercise tapes. He was hilarious eons ago when he was on Howard Stern. I remember I never laughed so hard when he did that Howard Stern bit. Well, he was on the Channel 9 show, and he brought a couple of his people on that he would try to help them lose weight, and Stern was like ripping into him so badly. I really did laugh very hard at that, and I wish they would release this. But the point is, Richard Simmons is just really off the wall. Now, Richard Simmons is 67, it says. And it says, I don't know what it stands for. It says, this is CR with star. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Richard Simmons, publicist, blast reports he's living as a woman named Fiona and taking hormones as new pictures show exclusive fitness star leaving the hospital with a beard after cross-dressing on night out. So, this is funny. I mean, this isn't like the Daily Mail, folks. This is what's really weird. Fitness guru reportedly has breast implants and had some hormone therapy. The report claims that he has been going through the surgeries for 2 years. You can't tell with the man, I'm telling you. Friends say he is not just basically a drag queen. He is now a soft-spoken woman. When asked about the story, Simmons publicist Tom Estey told Daily Mail online, "This is maybe it means crock of shit, but thanks. I'm just filling in the blanks. That's all I can do." Pointed to pictures of Simmons sporting a beard taken this week. The 67-year-old has hidden away for 3 years in his Hollywood home. Last week, he was taken to a hospital after suffering severe dehydration. So, I mean, the guy he's always been really off the wall. He doesn't look like he has breast implants. I think he was just, doing a goof when he dresses up. And he's always dressed with those little shorts on and crap like that. I mean, the man's rich. And he is just very eccentric. I mean, he's always been kind of off the wall. It's nothing new for him. Did he get a sex change operation? I seriously don't think this is a true story, but it's just sad now that, this is what they have left to talk about is report that now he's had a sex change operation. I mean, they have literally nothing else to report. So, I mean, I don't know. I found the whole thing, to say the least, I found it very amusing. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, because you know me, if you listen to me long enough, you would know I forget things very easily. I'm going to try to look for, in case I have in my mix of stories. Because I'm going to read so many stories after I play this segment, too. No, I actually did not put it in there. That's kind of weird. So I'm going to open a new window, because, I know what I was going to talk about, and I'm actually going to the wrong direction. I have to go to Amazon, if I can. It was this movie I saw on Facebook, a horror movie. It was like, wow, I really wouldn't mind checking it out. I was hoping it was going to be one for free. Unfortunately, it was not, so I end up the rental of this movie. It was actually called, let me think. I can't remember the movie. I remember now. The movie is an Italian film, so it's on the same line as some of those bad horror films. They're considered great classics. It's on the same line as those. I actually turned it off. I was going to watch it and do a full report on it. It was like, this is so bad, I can't make it that far. I can't stand it anymore. So I basically turned it off. I'll watch a little bit later. But it was like, and I can watch it any time, by the way, because it was like, okay, it was $3 to rent it, $8 to buy it. I'll buy it just for the sake of, if I can't get through it, I can watch it at my own pace. Because sometimes I'm really, really bad with certain movies, and it takes me forever to get through them. My friend Matt kind of said that before, it takes him forever. And for me, it's not that hey, I got to watch everything, if I rent a movie, but one's online, you sometimes don't get extras. You normally don't. So I don't have that problem. No, my problem is, though, because he has that problem. He has to watch everything you sit on the disc. and it's a bad habit of his. And it's like, well, that's actually not a bad habit. It's pretty interesting. Or I think sometimes he also has a hard time getting through stuff. And that for me is, yes, that is a definite issue for me. I have a really difficult time getting through certain movies, especially if they're really bad. And this one would be one of them. If I didn't mention, it's called Absurd. I'm not even kidding. It literally is called Absurd. And it was like, okay, but they said the movie was released with multiple names, not just one, like, you know, because they have to do voiceovers and crap like that for these movies. So they said this movie had like a whole, I don't want to use, that's like a little bit extreme to say this, but it probably would fit. It's almost like there was a plethora of names, so you might see a different name, but it's exactly the same film. But the original movie was Absurd was basically shot in Italy, so it was all in Italian. Then it was released in the U.S., where they just changed the name to, which I can't remember. That's what I'm actually trying to look for right now, by the way. But the beginning of that episode, like, I watched a little bit at work. I was getting some show prep done at work, what I could do. And then it was like, oh, shoot, you know, it's not too much longer. I have to go home. I got to get ready to go home. So what I did is I started watching it, and it was ironic almost, because where I left off, by the way, this guy's on the phone, and the guy's saying, he's calling this guy named Walter, which was really, really funny. It was like, okay, and the guy's sleeping when he calls. Like, this guy's calling this guy Walter on the phone, and he says, hey, Walter, oh, did I wake you up? I'm sorry. It's like a cop calling this guy named Walter. So it was like, okay, this is actually even more funny to me, because I'm always talking about people at work sleeping at the job and stuff like that. So I was going to make a joke, which I could not fit it in, by the way. Well, I was just going to say, yeah, somebody gave me a call today, or I was just going to actually edit it in differently, or just kind of fit in and say, hey, you know, this is me at work. I was at work and I got this phone call. I was going to do that, and it's like, this is going to sound really stupid. So I'm just going to tell you what I was going to do. I was going to add it into my show and just say, yeah, somebody called me today, and but, you know, this is what the conversation consisted of. It was like, but you know what? This doesn't make any sense. So I just kind of dropped the whole idea. I'm talking about it, and I basically added to this show. But again, the movie is called Absurd, and it was under, again, a different name in the U.S. released version. I'm getting so much junk mail right now. I don't know why. And I deliberately added, to avoid this problem, I added McAfee to my Mac, because I bought it for the PC. You can actually use that same license, by the way, on your PC, which I was like, really nice to know this. But it hasn't worked yet. Okay, the English version of the movie, which is basically, it's this voiceover, the exact same movie, and it was 1981 when this movie came out. The American version, which is, again, just that one thing, is called Horrible. So it's like, well, that's a little more appropriate. Actually, both are very appropriate, because the original name of the movie is called Absurd. The Americanized version, which basically means they just did voiceover on the voices, and they don't match up, really don't match up with the Italian voices. The English dub over. It is so bad. It's hilarious in that. But yeah, the first one's called Absurd, and it's like, yeah, this movie is pretty absurd. And the one from America is called Horrible. Yeah, it's like this movie is horrible too. But that part you're going to be getting from about Walter in the very beginning, that is from this movie either absurd or horrible. They're the same movie, by the way. One's in English. One would be English. You could put it on, or basically you can watch it the way it's supposed to be, which would be Italian. So, but it's like a typical 1980s horror film, like Italian horror film. I've seen enough of them now. They all pretty much have the same premise with the bad people being ripped apart or having things put into their body, orifices, whatever, being ripped apart. No different than any of these other list of horror movies. That's why I kind of wanted to watch. I was like, okay, I've seen one similar to this. Why don't I check this one out? It was cheaper just to buy it. I can watch at my own convenience. It may take me about a year just to get through it, to suffer through it. It's not even that long of a movie. So anyway, again, the part with Walter was very, very funny. So I had to stick. It was like, wait a minute. But see, I already meshed everything together. I actually conglomerated my segment for the beginning. It was like, okay, I got to put this somewhere in this show because it's so funny. And I decided to split in the beginning of the very beginning. And for those who don't know, or if I didn't mention it, which I think I did, this Saturday I'll be down in Philadelphia, because I will be going to see Kevin Smith once again. So that's pretty cool. So something I was going to say about absurd, in addition to what I said, or AKA horrible, or whatever, it probably is the other way around you would say it, that it's horrible, AKA absurd. So one person actually really liked the film who also bought the film from Amazon. That's where I got it, on the streaming video. I don't need the box. I've never even heard of the movie. I was just all of a sudden like, okay, hey, here's another Italian film. Let me see how good or bad it is. I saw a screenshot on the horror site that I have on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, I got to actually really check this out. Now, there was another one I just bought online, though, because I couldn't rent it or buy it online, so I had to end up buying it physically. And if you get the original original copy of this movie, it's called Popcorn, by the way, another horror film. That's also technically considered a cult classic. I don't know how bad it is or how good it is, but if you buy like an original copy of the film because it's been out of print, you're talking like $80. It's like, okay, I'm not going to buy this because I think that was also in 1981. Let's see, Popcorn. So somebody actually had a very good copy of it, and it was like, you know what? It was like $8. They made a box up. They said they did even silk screen and everything. No, actually, it was 1991. It was like, well, you know what? This looks actually really interesting, too. So I bought it for the $8. It did get shipped out. That's not too bad because I thought I saw Popcorn before. I didn't realize it's a comedy horror movie, by the way. I'm always interested in like something I haven't seen before and get different ideas or, seeing different perspectives on film work, no matter how bad it is. I think you could actually watch it on YouTube, but the quality was so bad, I was like, you know what, I'm hoping it's a little bit better on this DVD rip, because they said it's like a one-on-one, like you don't lose any quality, they claim. And the people who actually bought this movie, who did the same thing I did, they said, yeah, the quality is actually pretty decent. So I'll find out in the next couple days, next couple weeks, I don't know yet. But this movie called Popcorn, yeah, it says buy the DVD on Amazon, and it's hard to find anyway, from $80. So the lowest price is $80 if I would have bought it that way. And it says there's one price, you could buy the DVD for $113. It's like, well, you know what? Yeah, it's not even worth it. Now, there's some other ones that are less expensive. This is brand new official from the United Kingdom, the UK, of this movie Popcorn. They're selling it actually for $23 plus $4 to $4 shipping. But it's not even worth it. So, because I have a Blu-ray player that plays all, it's a region-free DVD player as well as a Blu-ray player. But it's not worth it for that kind of money for a movie that's probably not that great. So I don't mind buying a rip as long as it's good and it's better than what I could see online. Somebody else is selling it for almost $30-some. It's like, yeah, that's a little bit too much for a movie that I'm probably going to watch once unless there's anything in there of interest, which I won't mention what I mean by that. So anyway, I think I've said enough on that. But again, I just decided, okay, I'm going to make my segment tonight on this kid getting his penis ripped off, which is not cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that much of a dick. I know it was really bad, wasn't it? But seriously, yeah, it's just okay. It's like, okay, here's some interesting material I can actually probably use tonight. Again, I'm not trying to do it at this little three. I mean, it's a 3-year-old. I mean, that would be horrible to me. Well, I'm pretty bad anyway. So what am I thinking? But that would be really horrible to me to, But you'd have to understand me, my friend. We have some very immature, inappropriate type sense of humor. And yeah, I mean, it's not the best thing to be that way, but sometimes you kind of almost need that. I'm trying to think, just to kind of take the stress off of the everyday things I take up with. I kind of need that break. So anyway, sorry, I'm trying to get something to work. I really do want to play that segment. But before I do that, it was funny tonight. I actually wasn't going to do it. I was looking, I got a thing on, upcoming concerts and stuff. And it was like, wow, there's some concerts. At least the concerts, I love doing the meet and greets. There's different celebrities and stuff I wouldn't mind seeing, as long as it's not really expensive. So here I found one, which was kind of funny, and I was not going to do it. And I'm being totally serious. I was not going to buy a ticket for this, but there was another one for one of these Disney shows, one of these Disney kids, that it's a girl, and it was on a show, actually. It's called Girl Meets World, one of the celebrities on there, which her name's Sabrina Carpenter, so I don't know if she's related to any of the celebrities who have last name. There's John Carpenter. There was that singer years ago, which I'm drawing a blank, who was Karen Carpenter. She had anorexia. This girl's related, but this girl actually is from somewhere in Pennsylvania. That's the weird thing. But again, her name's Sabrina Carpenter, and she's playing up in near the Bethlehem Steel casinos, but it's not the casino, because at first I thought it was. It's actually at a stadium, and it was like, well, this would be pretty cool. She's doing a meet and greet, and I think it was like $75. I was like, wow, that's pretty cheap. But here's the thing: you have to have a ticket, but that's for a VIP. It's an upgrade to a VIP ticket, but you have to have an existing ticket. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this is probably going to cost you close to $1,000 or a couple $100. No, actually, it doesn't. The tickets were only like $30, and it's at a big stadium. It's almost like a football stadium up in Bethlehem, and I probably know where it is. I'll have to ask a friend, but it kind of had the same layout, which kind of interested me, as when I went to Taylor Swift, because when I went to Taylor Swift, it was kind of unique to see something in an outside stadium that literally was it a baseball field or a football field? And she did a really good job. They had the layout was really, really good. And it was kind of impressive because I got some really decent pictures. So it was like, you know what, this would be kind of fun. But the only problem is it's going to be another Disney kid. And I'm probably going to get reamed for doing it. But yeah, it was like $30 for her ticket. And it was almost sold out. Most places they were sold out of her already. It's like I'm surprised. This girl, like I said, her name's Sabrina Carpenter. I'm gonna look her up. Has made a really big impression. The show's actually not that bad, because I always used to talk about Girl Meets World. They haven't made any new episodes. Maybe this is why. Then I found out she's from around here, which is really kind of from Pennsylvania, I should say, because she did something where she went to her hometown. It came right up. She went to her hometown in Pennsylvania somewhere here. And, and she couldn't like stay. It was at a Kohl's. She was doing a free one, and they couldn't keep her long. And she said a lot of the fans were very disappointed in that. I was like, well, what do you expect? Because you're kind of holding up the business, and the business does not like that. Yeah, it's going to draw crowds, but these crowds aren't going to buy stuff. They're going to be there for her. So I'm trying to see where she's from. This says singer-song Sabrina Ann Lynn Carpenter, American singer. She signed in the Hollywood Records. But for some reason, Wikipedia, there was some story that said that a lot of fans were very upset, but it was like, I don't think that was in her, she couldn't really help that. Born May 11th, 1999, she's 17. I didn't even realize that she was that old. She's supposed to be playing like a 13-year-old or 11-year-old, but she's actually 17 now. She's from Lehigh Valley, though. I know it sits somewhere around here, and she went to her hometown, so, it's my neck of the woods. Yeah, I guess it's saying Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton. Well, I guess that's the areas that it's covered. But I think she actually is from around, like, Bethlehem. So she came home. I mean, she lives out in California now. So a lot of these kid actresses are from, like, different states. Some of them from Disney, actually from, like, Jersey and stuff. But I didn't realize she was from Pennsylvania. I was kind of shocked by that. And she's really small, because I figured she's got to be small, because I seen her on, that Girl Meets World, and she looks like she's barely, like, 5 foot tall. She's really small. But she's made a name for herself. And, she's actually a really good actress for a young kid. So I was, like, doing stuff. I was hoping, it's not going to happen, I'll tell you this right now. I was hoping, hey, because they're going to push you through. It's going to be another cattle prod thing. Hey, would you, if I have my cell phone, could you just do a plug for my show? I don't care who you are, but, I know who you are, but I'm just saying. So it would be pretty funny just to have her do that. But I bought a ticket for that tonight, by the way. And I'm not even kidding. My friend Matt would say, oh, no, you knew what you were doing. No, I actually did not. I accidentally bought, because I didn't buy the ticket first. I was looking at, I was curious what the final cost would be. So I put all my information, I put my credit card information, and I was just going to see, okay, what's going to be the taxes if I buy this upgrade ticket from your standard ticket? And guess what it did? It charged my card, and it said there's no refund. It was like, crap, I just bought a ticket to this girl, and I did not intend to do so. So it was like, okay, I've spent more money on a lot of other things. It would be I just want to see this venue, actually, too. So I ended up buying it. Then I had to go back and buy a ticket. The ticket was only $30, and I got decent tickets. But it was like, okay, I have to buy the ticket now, because I'm not going to waste my money on something I can't use unless you buy the ticket. So I was kind of forced myself to buying the ticket now, too, which I bought it right this time. I bought it right from the venue in Bethlehem. I didn't, because if you go to these other sites, her tickets are going for like over $200. And it was like, why are they so freaking expensive? Not many people know who this girl is unless they watch the Disney Channel, like me, which I haven't actually lately. Honestly, I have not watched the Disney Channel at all lately. I'm just saying, and know about this show called Girl Meets World, which I do, which is kind of weird, but because I watched Boy Meets World years ago. So it was like, but most people really, I don't think, know what this show's about. It's a really good show, though. So why is the tickets $200? So I went right to the venue. The same tickets were $30. And it was like, okay, this explains everything now. They're just trying to rip people off. So, unfortunately, it's nothing new, but, yeah, they were trying to rip people off. So, yeah, so I end up, it was something, it's not until, I think, August, I think. So I hope, I checked to make sure, because I've done this before. I bought tickets that overlapped on the same day. Not lately, but I think in the past I actually did. So I made sure that was not going to happen, and it didn't, I don't think, because I have John Carpenter next month. Beginning of next month, I have John Carpenter, and this Saturday I have Kevin Smith. And then I might have had other tickets, which at this point I don't even know what's going on. There's some other concerts I was thinking about getting tickets for, and I never actually really did. I'm sorry. I'm moving away from my mic. So, yeah, I want to get to this part because I kind of prolong and get into the story with Buck Sexton. But I will. I promise you, I'm definitely going to get to this. So, but yeah, I got a ticket for Sabrina Carpenter. I didn't realize she was 17. I thought she was only like, not that I'm oh, wow, I'm like some pervert looking for 12-year-olds. Trust me, I'm not. Speaking about that, actually, I was going to actually wait, though. That girl got, this one girl got, let's see if I can find my other stories. Trying to look, I must have shut down all my stories unintentionally, though. No, I didn't. Okay, good. But that one girl who played in that Kick-Ass movie, she's actually grown up, too. And of all things, it's kind of funny, but it really is. It's kind of funny, but they have these pictures, like, from, of all things, again, Daily UK Mail. They've been really putting out some garbage stuff for lately. And she's got, like, spandex on. And these, you know, you can call me what you like, oh, you're a pervert, you know, you're a child molester, whatever you would like to think about me. But guess what the pictures are that the Daily Mail had posted that they had taken of her? They're showing that she's got camel toe. She's got on, like, a workout outfit, you know, a spandex belly shirt, like one of these workout outfit tops. They got a picture to make sure you can see, because they do a close-up. I'm not even kidding. A close-up of her camel toe. And then they do an ass shot as well. So you can call me what you like. You can call me a pervert, you know, a sick fuck, a child molester. But, hey, I'm not the person who had snapped these shots of her spandex ass and of her camel toe. I mean, I'm going to look for it because I think it was funny. I mean, this is stuff I would get accused of doing. But they make sure to zoom in on her ass and then they zoom in on her camel toe. So it's like, okay, so you're going to call me a sick fuck, but then you take pictures of a teenage girl who's got spandex on with a camel toe. And you have the nerve to call me a sick fuck. So I'd kind of reconsider on who you are pointing those words at, because it's definitely not me. It came up. Her name's Chloe something. Oh, Chloe Mortez or something. She's 17 also. But, you know, hey, these kids do draw attention to themselves. But, yeah, she was the girl who played, I think, in Kick-Ass. She played in that remake movie of Let the Right One In. It was called Let the Right One In. But, again, and some other movies, but I'm not the one who takes pictures of 17-year-old girls' asses. And you can't tell me, well, the people taking the pictures at least are around the same age. Yeah, if you can get a job at a newspaper tabloid at the age of 17, I wish I got a job like that when I was that age. So you can't use that excuse either, because I would not buy it for one second, just to let you know. I just thought it was funny, though. I thought it was really funny that, you know, somehow I had to get in because of talking about teenage girls. And no, she actually was not on Disney either. Isn't that pretty weird? She's not from Disney, so. Okay, so sorry about that. I've actually already killed almost 45 minutes on my show just talking about all this other stuff. But the Buck Sexton thing, just to let you know, I got some really wild stories from around here. I don't know what's going on. He does kind of say what I wanted to say, which I've said before. What am I saying? Things I've said before, about this whole thing with these illegal immigrants. And he had actually mentioned, no joke, oh my God, it's the guy who played Superman in some movie on Chiller. It is him too. The guy, the Superman that looked like Christopher Reeve, the actor. I mean, because I saw him in person, Brandon Roth, in this movie of Pumpkinhead. I didn't know he played in there. It's definitely him. But Bug, sorry about that. I got a TV on the background again, like I always do. Bud Sexton was actually saying, no joke, that in California now, it was written into the Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, and it's not something that was overlooked, like, because Bud says in this segment and more that these people who support Obama are going to say, oh, Obama had no clue that this was written in here, but this clause that he actually did not develop all by himself, but it basically he approved of, putting his name on there, was in the Obamacare. It says in there, if you actually read the everything in there, there's a thing on one of the pages that said it would allow. Now, there's a segment that Obama denied that. He says, I would never give insurance to illegal immigrants. That's what I'm trying to say. But yet, if you read through this Affordable Health Care Act, it says, yes, you are, not that you are. But what I meant to say is that illegal immigrants are entitled to health insurance. Now, Obama says right out, and he lies about it, he says, I will never give insurance. He had said this because it's on Bud Sexton's soundbite, that he goes out and he just outright lies, Obama does, and says, I will never give insurance or allow insurance to illegal immigrants. But yet, it does say it in the Obamacare. So he basically lied through his teeth. He gets away with it because people that support Obama are going to say, oh, he just did not know that. Yeah, he did know it. That's why he put it in there. That's why it was there. He knew it was in there. He knows what everything that's in that thing. I don't care how long it is. He knows what was in there. They probably at least clued him in on it, so he can't backpedal on that. I'm sorry. I thought this was Pumpkinhead. It's some other movie, though, and it is that actor who plays Superman. I keep on looking over, by the way. So, anyway, I'll figure it out because I'm going to play that segment, and I'll pop up the name of this movie, by the way. So, yeah, Obama knows what's in there. He'll lie about it, but he knew what was in this Affordable Health Care Act, and which was a.k.a. basically developed by the Clintons, and then Obama slapped his name on there. But there was another thing they said, which I was speculating, saying the other day on my show, Bud Sexton, that's why I had this segment, I played it out for at least 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes, basically. Because, guess what? At the very end of it, that's where I kind of cut it off not too long afterwards. I think he does mention, I'm pretty sure he does, because I'm trying to remember everything was in this segment that I'm going to be playing. And I'm not going to listen to him. I'm just going to put it in and just pray to God that I'm right, which I think I am. But he said that they already did try to push through, which they did. The Democrats pushed through that illegal immigrants can get driver's license. Because I remember hearing that a while back on Rush's show. Why do they want illegals to get driver's license? They claimed the reason was because illegal immigrants need to get to and from their job. Don't worry about that there's 96 million people out of work, don't have jobs. That's not important. The important thing is to make sure that people who don't belong in our country have a roof over their head, a cell phone, food in their mouths, and all the luxuries that most Americans wish they had. That's more important, and be able to drive. So how do you do that? Well, you have to give them a driver's license, right, so they can get to and from work. That was their excuse. No, the real reason they want that done is because They don't care if they have a driver's license. They want them to be able to vote for the Democrat Party, who has given them everything. That's the real reason. So that is mentioned in, I believe, in this Buck Sexton soundbite, which I will play. I will play it right now. Here we go. Buck Sexton on Rush Limbaugh this week. It was on Tuesday that I got listened to this. So let me know what you think if you can. So here we go right now. Buck Sexton covering in for Rush.
California is trying to be the first state in the country to officially allow illegal immigrants to buy health care or health insurance on the Obamacare exchanges. Now, you will, I'm sure, recall, you'll think back, wait a second, wasn't there a bit of a sort of a nasty dust-up about this? Wasn't there a back and forth in the earlier days of Obamacare? And we were told in no uncertain terms, we were told a couple things. Of course, we're told if you like your plan, you can keep it, as you know. That definitely wasn't true. And the administration knew it wasn't true. But we were also told that there was no way that illegal immigrants, because, of course, the Obamacare exchanges have federal subsidies built into them for lower income, well, it's supposed to be lower income Americans. Now it's going to be lower income whoever's here. But they say that won't happen, even if they're able to buy health care plans on the exchanges now. See, they just keep edging closer and closer here, moving the football slowly down the field. They say, don't worry, they won't be eligible for subsidies. But, of course, the whole healthcare market, in a sense, right, is meant to sort of share costs. So your healthcare is, depending on how sick or not sick you are, and especially in the Obamacare exchanges, subsidized. I'll get into all that in a second. Let me just step back there for a second. Do you remember this exchange? President Obama said that there was no way that we would ever get to a place in this law, under this law, where illegal immigrants would be able to get Obamacare. Play the clip, please.
There are also those who claim that our reform efforts would ensure illegal immigrants. This, too, is false. The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true. And one more misunderstanding I want to clear up.
All right, so that's the whole. Remember that you lie. It was Representative Wilson who said it, and people said, "Oh, it was horrible. It was disrespectful. This is the president. How dare he?" Okay, say what you now. I know what the Obama defenders, the reactionary, knee-jerk, Obama's always right people will say, which is, well, this isn't. What Obama said is true. He didn't know that this. I mean, come on, really? You don't think the Democrats thought through this whole process and weren't thinking that they would? First of all, they're trying to push for amnesty, which means that at that point, any sort of legalized status, they'll be wide open for Obamacare anyway. So that's step one. But even beyond that, you really think that they didn't know that this would happen? This is how much the Democrats think about these things, or how far ahead they think about these things. They're trying to find this way to ensure legal immigrants. All they really have to do in California is to say that they need to get a state innovation waiver, it's called. And that means they petition the federal government, currently run by the Obama administration. Signature law is this law, or signature, legislative achievement, I should say, is this law. They have to get a state innovation waiver from the federal government. So they say, hey, federal government, it would allow us to be innovative in the healthcare insurance market if we brought illegals into this process. And they get the waiver, and then all of a sudden they can do this. That's it? You got to be kidding me. Section 1332 of the healthcare law allows states to request 5-year waivers from key aspects of the Affordable Care Act, including the individual and employer mandates. So this is hat tip Melissa Quinn at the Daily Signal for that. So, yeah, this was baked. This is in the law. This isn't like some new law they've passed. This is in the law. You can request a waiver, and now they're going to request a waiver so they can insure illegals. Illegal aliens in this country. Is that a microaggression? Am I not allowed to say that anymore? It's in federal law, but federal law doesn't matter anymore when it comes to this issue. People just pretend it's not there. They get maybe it's even a macroaggression. So they're going to get a state innovation waiver. Now, let me ask you this. So years ago it was, how dare anyone think for a second that the president and the Democrats would want to give, they want in-state tuition for illegals. The Democrats love that. The Democratic Party is open borders and everything except name at this point, isn't it? What do they, maybe they want to stop people and say, hey, we need some information on you so we can at some point tax you if you actually qualify to pay taxes. But beyond that, who's not allowed to stay? That's what I want to know. If you listen to like the Nancy Pelosi's of the world and the Hillary Clintons for that matter, I remember in the Bernie-Hillary debate a few months ago, one of them, which sounded like you're two people who are advocating for an open border state. Now, I know that some of my libertarian friends, I have a few, would say that, this is good, and they'll point to increased economic activity as being a benefit to America. Now, we then have to get into, who is it good for? And of course, more people means more economic activity, but let's just say adding millions of people into the economy who then would be also able to officially get federal benefits, that might just hurt a little more with the whole debt and deficit situation, right? Obama's going to be leaving us $20 trillion in debt when he finally is out of office. Unless the assumption is that illegal immigrants are so much more hardworking and so much more beneficial to the economy, so much more able to compete in an increasingly information-driven economy instead of an economy based on labor, that they will save the American economy because they're better for the economy than Americans. Of all backgrounds and ideologies and ethnicities and everything else, illegals are better. If you don't believe that, then I don't understand how you can say that it's a good thing. Or rather, you'd have to believe that to say it's a good thing to legalize all the illegals in the country. But that seems to be what the Democratic Party wants to do. But a few years ago, we were told that they would never use this law in this way, that illegals wouldn't be getting subsidies. Now, remember, these are the same people that want to give driver's licenses to illegals, want in-state tuition, which, of course, is subsidized by the state. Right? There's a reason why if you live in Virginia, you pay X amount of dollars to go to University of Virginia. If you live outside of Virginia, you don't get that money, and it costs a whole lot more. So they wanted to give in-state tuition to illegals, which means subsidized tuition to illegals. And where does that come from? Taxes. They're just giving money to people. And they even were hoping, as you know, that people would be able to stay here. And once they keep saying that once they legalize the illegal population, and Obama has tried this through executive order, and that's currently making its way through the courts. I think, by the way, for those of you who are sort of on the fence about what happens in America if Hillary wins, let's just say she just wins the presidency and maybe wins the Senate, we'll see. You don't think she's going to continue on with that? The Democrats can count, and they're aware of the percentages, and they understand that if they finish what Obama has started with the mass amnesty, they have an unsinkable majority. That's it. It's done.
Okay, yeah. So that was the Buck Sexton thing. He covered the one day. Let me make sure. Buck Sexton, he covered for Rush Limbaugh. So I thought that was really cool. I had to fit that in. Yeah, that movie I looked at the name and I already forgot it. It was called something Dog Dylan. It is the guy Brandon Roth. That was the movie he played when he did not get the part in any other Superman movies, which I was really disappointed about that, by the way. So I really liked him. When I met him in person, he was a very nice man to meet, too, in real life. Very tall man, too. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. And, yeah, if you find that interesting, because I don't know if I'm going to post about Buck Sexton being on my show, because I don't mention when I even put sound bites I used to about Rush Limbaugh, and it actually helps my ratings, but sometimes I don't mention it. So anyway, I saw this today. It was in the Norristown Times-Herald online. Now, this won't come into the paper until today, on Thursday. But there was this thing on the Norristown Times-Herald that was on, I think, it was Tuesday night. And there's this McDonald's right down here, right in Norristown, like where the train tracks are, if you're from here, from my neck of the woods. And I passed this a million times. It's got a gas station, too, a BP gas station, I think, attached to it. And this has been like nothing but just a disaster, this McDonald's right on the street corner. And I remember one time, me and my friend Todd, I think his car broke down or something, or whatever happened. We got stuck, and we were in front of this place. Maybe we actually had taken a train down the city, and we came back, and we stopped off. We got stuck there, and we called to get somebody to pick us up, so we went to this McDonald's. Well, the reason I mentioned so much about this McDonald's in Norristown, right on this, it says West Main Street, off of West Main Street and Markley Street. Somebody got shot and killed there just on Tuesday night. So it says Norristown Police DA investigating fatal shooting at McDonald's. It's at that one, if you're familiar with the area. It says police found a man fatally shot late Tuesday night. It was around, I think, before, it says 11:39 p.m. Tuesday night in the drive-through lane at McDonald's in Main Street and Markley Street in Norristown. I think the guy died. It says authorities are continuing an investigation in the fatal shooting of a 24-year-old man in the parking lot of the McDonald's at 233 West Main Street Tuesday night. It says police responded to the scene at 11:39 p.m. and found the victim, who had been shot multiple times, lying in the restaurant's drive-through lane, according to a press release issued by Montgomery County County District Attorney's Office. He was pronounced dead at the scene. So, what does Norristown consist of anymore? It seems like the lowest common denominator in many parts. I hate to say it. I'm not saying, because I know people who live in Norristown. I technically used to live in Norristown, and it says that was updated 14 hours ago, this story. And it was not like it is now. And we had it seemed like a whole, like months, I don't even know what to say, like a whole takeover. The majority of the people there are all like illegals. Like they dropped them. They literally, there was some article I remember a while back, they did say that they've been dropping off all the illegals in Norristown, and there's basically breeding there or taking residence or taking up place in Norristown, and they had overtaken all of Norristown almost at this point with these Mexicans. None of them speak English, and other illegals. I'm not just going to say Mexicans, but I think even Buck Sexton might have said on one of his shows, maybe not in that segment, in other ones, the people that are getting let into this country, literally dropped in this country, or just walk over the border, are the lowest of the lows. They're the worst common denominators. That these are people that are not wanted by anyone, so we end up taking them in. The Democrats don't care because that's votes for them. And what used to be a safe place to live is no longer the case. And by the way, when I did play that, another reason about the Buck Sexton thing at the very end was what I was trying to point out, was Bud actually mentioned this with the health care. I want to go back to that for a second. He said, by having all these illegals on basically Obamacare, what's that do to who pays for this stuff? He says didn't I say that the other day? Somebody has to pay for it. And guess who does? We do, through our taxes. Our taxes will go up even higher to pay for this overwhelming amount of illegal immigrants, people that are unemployed. We're paying for that if you have a job. And we're paying through the nose for all this crap. And then if you have these illegals, I think he said towards the end, he may have not insinuated that, but he's basically saying it in a roundabout way. Who pays for all these, people that are driving that are here illegally? Who's paying for them to get these privileges? We are. So it's just it's a whole nightmare all the way around. There's no way around it. The whole thing is just a nightmare. So there was that story. A friend sent me this one. I couldn't help but make a comment on this one. And it said, "What the fuck did you do?" From the Daily Mail, by the way. Let me see what opens up. This was the other day. It was a video. It says, "What the fuck did you do?" It literally says this. This shows you who's writing for that paper, the Daily Mail now. And it's got video and screenshots. This woman, this guy and this girl, boyfriend and girlfriend, and it was actually, what country was it in? I think it was Russia, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to look through it. It says, like Slovakia or something like that. Maybe I thought it said Russia somewhere. But this woman is having a fight and punching the shit out of her boyfriend. And then he grabs her and because I watched the video earlier today. And then he tries to like hug her and like, "Oh, you know, you don't mean anything by this." While she's punching him in the face. So then she tries to get in her car and drive off after punching him numerous times in the face. He grabs her before she tries to get in her car and walk away. And he punches her so hard he knocks her to the ground in the face, like right in the head a couple times. So a pedestrian tries to come up, and this guy tries to punch her out too. So this is for real, by the way. It just makes me wonder why I'm single, why you got these assholes who can find girlfriends with no problem. It makes no sense to me at all. But it doesn't surprise me because I see it all the time. But it says, "What the fuck do you do?" Horrifying video shows man knocking out his girlfriend, repeatedly punching her in the face during a furious argument. Woman initially hits the boyfriend, yelling and questioning him, but then he eventually retaliates by punching her repeatedly in the face. I'm sorry, it's not funny. She falls to the floor, which is actually the ground that's outside, as a passing woman rushes to her help. The man then attacks her too, fearing she has evidence on her phone. Because the guy actually says in the video, you can make out that he was like asking her, not actually demanding her, "Give me your cell phone," because he was going to actually destroy the phone. So the woman tries to run away, and the guy chases after her. So he's like punched out his girlfriend, and he's ready to smash this woman's phone. A pedestrian was trying to help out. I kind of almost realize why people don't want to help people. It does say Russian, though. It says here, the video was filmed from the window of a nearby building in the central Russian city. And I'm not going to even try to mention this name of this city, by the way. I'm not going to destroy that one. But yeah, this is great. So hey, I'm glad that garbage like that is able to procreate and find people who they can procreate with, because nobody needs anything. I don't want to see. I can't say this right. Nothing pleases me more than to see like the garbage and the lowest common denominator of our society just reproducing at alarming rates, so I can support them, that all my money is going to go towards these idiots to have offspring that I'll just eventually have to take care of them and their offspring, because they shouldn't be held accountable for this stuff. I should be. Even though that's Russia, you can say, well, that's Russia, it's not here. You don't think that kind of bullshit goes on in this country too? Are you serious? You don't really think that happens? You know, the people who are living the highest on the hog, having the most entertaining time, aren't the people like myself who are trying to truly, you know, make ends meet, trying to make a living and trying to better myself. No, it's not me. It's not any of us. It's the people who are total garbage, who are living on the highest end of the food chain, which in the good old days, they wouldn't even exist. They would basically, put themselves, they would starve themselves into oblivion. They wouldn't even exist. They would basically die off like insects. But now they're on the highest common denominator. They're on the high end of the food chain now, thanks to our government. That's why I don't want to see Hillary get in, by the way, either, because that's going to be even more of a nightmare. You know what? I have to look because I have to see what my postings are now. I've been getting some like interesting countries. I haven't done that in a while, have I? I usually do it every other day on my Spreaker, where I'm reaching people. How far am I reaching? Well, I didn't see my statistics. They weren't too high the last 2 days. There only been like literally a dozen. Yeah, if I don't do a new show, I don't get ratings. I got, obviously, United States. Then I got France, Sweden, Colombia, Brazil, Mexico, Poland, Vietnam, and the UK. They're all the places I got listener base from. And it says in U.S., it's Coatesville, PA, Pennsylvania, PA, Mountain View, California. It's still up there. It actually got higher. Muncie, PA. That's where my friend's from. Thank you, Todd, for listening to me still. Woodbridge, New Jersey. Telford, PA. Bennsville, Illinois, Blairstown, New Jersey. Thank you again, because I didn't lose those listeners. That listener, I should say, or 2 listeners. I appreciate that. New York, New York. I don't know who's listening to me from there. And then Glen Olden, PA. So thank you so much for you guys who do tune in to me. I feel bad for you having to listen to my voice every day or when I do come on, but I do appreciate it at the same time. By the way, Suicide Squad actually officially got a rating of a PG-13. I prefer to see a rated R movie finally happen, at least a rated R, because, God, at least that happened, which I'm glad, with Suicide Squad. But that's about as far as it's gone, just that one right there. Hey, if you want to see something funny, if you're old school like me, funny video I put up, I found. Funny. It says, funny gray school grind. Skeletor learns to twerk. So somebody made a parody video of Skeletor learning how to twerk. Skeletor from He-Man. That was pretty funny. Now I lost all my story. Oh, this was funny because we always make jokes. Me and a friend make jokes about Canadians. Why, I have no clue. It just became like an inside joke with both of us. My friend Todd and all. And me. And all. Who else is there? Me and Todd. So anyway, it says, sinkhole closes parts of Canadian's capital downtown. Literally, these sinkholes are humongous. I'm not even kidding. So that was pretty... I had to put that in there. Man arrested in Conchie, this is from the Norristown Times Herald, on drug and weapon charges. It says, Conchie man, a Philadelphia man. I've always said Conchie is a very dangerous spot, too. A Philadelphia man is facing drug and weapon charges after the lights on his SUV attracted the attention of the police on Saturday. So these people either have blacked out windows, all that bling on their fucking car, and it's like a walking billboard for the cops to pull you over, and that's exactly what happened. So here, I've been pulling some stuff off a friend of Todd's Facebook page, because somehow it comes to me, too, which I really appreciate. Maybe he's a friend with me, and I apologize for saying Todd's friend. Maybe it's a friend of mine, too, from Facebook. But he put up this thing that says, a lesson I recently learned in the hospital is when you masturbate while attached to a heart monitor, it scares the shit out of the nurses. I never even thought about that one. It's pretty funny, though. I thought it was funny. I have just a really weird sense of humor. I put this up on my Facebook page. Where to begin with folk horror, your next obsession, the haunted landscape of folk horror. And then there's all these women like totally nude around those Stonehenge and in England. I think it's England. They're doing some type of seance, but they're totally nude, these women in the picture. So that's actually what was based upon. There was Stones of Bloods from Doctor Who. There was that episode called Stones of Bloods with the Stonehenge. And then obviously Halloween 3 was based upon the Stonehenge as well. For those people who did not know that. Anyway, I had to make a joke. I said Norristown should be number 1. A friend put this up on my Facebook page, or I basically had taken it. These are the 10 worst places to live in Pennsylvania. We used science data to determine which cities in PA are real pits, basically garbage pits. So let's see what it says, because I actually don't know. So it goes from 1 to 10. Number 1 is Newcastle. Number 2 is a place called, never heard of it, Natty Coke. Number 3 is Johnstown. Number 4 is Wilkesboro. Now, my friend wants to move back to Wilkesboro because his parents have some problems, his dad, my friend Todd, so his dad could really use his help, and he's thinking of going back. That's where number 5 was. It says Shenandoah. Well, Shenandoah, if I remember, isn't Shenandoah, I know there's a place called Shenandoah for retirees and stuff, but I don't know if that's the same place. It says Shenandoah, PA 17976, so maybe it is him. Corey's number 6. Hazeltown is number 7. Dickinson City is number 8. Tamaqua, which I think I get on the train if I take it down the city, which I haven't in a long time, is number 9. And Chester's number 10, which is kind of weird because of these are like the shitholes in Pennsylvania. And Norristown's not even on the top 10. That's actually really, really scary because Norristown alone is a place you don't want to stick around too long because actually gives a list up to 100. Yeah, it does. Norristown's 113, actually over 100. Of all the different towns, it was 113 on list was Norristown. So that's like, it goes all the way up to 258, which is the very last one on this list, which is really big, is Penn Wyn. Actually, Trooper went higher on the list. Trooper is actually at 251, though. That's not bad. Cunchy's at 240. I should see where Lansdale might be if it's actually on here. Audubon's actually at 232, which is right down the road. Harleysville's 218. I don't know where it made it. Westchester, Lansdowne. I was just curious if I could see Lansdale. Because Lansdale's a real shithole, too. No offense. Actually, maybe Lansdale's actually further up on the list. That would be actually funnier. If I can't find it, I'm not going to look. But you can find this on my page. Pottsville. Yeah, Pottstown. That's Pottsville, though. But Pottstown, I think, would be on top of the list. It's called, what's the name of the link? So I can give it to people. Road Snacks. And you can look for this article. I'm just going to see if I can find ones that really stick out, because now I'm like kind of curious. Oh, Altoona is number 46, though. Yeah, there's a town in Philadelphia. Actually, let's see where that one, because that's a shithole, too. Philadelphia actually hit 68. See, these are higher up. The top 10 are the ones you got to worry about. And I don't even think they're that bad. Pottstown actually got 108. It was number 118. So on this list of 200 and something. So I actually do not see Lansdale, because Lansdale is, no offense, it's a very scary place. So I don't understand. Plymouth Meeting actually got 211 on this list. Number 211. Levittown. Hatboro, I used to live in, is 245. I used to miss, I used to like, honestly, when I lived in Hatboro like 30 years ago, I really liked it. Trooper is actually 251 on this list, closer to the bottom of the list, which is good, actually. King of Prussia's 221. With Meeting. I actually did not see, unless I overlooked it, I see Lansdowne, but I do not see Lansdale. And that, Lansdale is a town. So, but it's not on the list that I can see. Maybe it is. I'm just not looking at it correctly. Or it's like closer to the top, which would make more sense, because that's just like, and the thing I don't understand is like Norristown's really gotten run down. They try to fix it up, but it's not a place that's very pleasant to walk through like you could years ago. You can't do that anymore. I thought I'd seen a place that said, Tamaqua. Yeah, I know where that kind of been on that, in that direction. So anyway, I just had to throw that in. That was like not on my list originally, but I did make it something. This was pretty interesting from the Morning Call. Mother-in-law hammers man at Pocono Raceway. An East Stroudsburg woman smacked her son-in-law in the face with a hammer on the Pocono Raceway infield early Sunday morning. That must, that's got to hurt. I can't think what else to say about it. Hey, another one that got in the tabloids, by the way, and I read that earlier on the Daily Mail. She's become for a young girl, she's become another kind of slutty type girl, which I'm really shocked with her. Another Disney girl, truly is a Disney girl, is this girl named Bella Thorne. She was on that show, Shake It Up. And she was like pushing, when she was like on that show, she was like 12 years old or 13. She was pushing how she has a severe learning disability and she's dyslexic. So I felt bad for the kid. It's like, oh, this poor kid has all these problems. Now she's walking around like she's like, I don't want to use the word street tramp, but that would probably be very appropriate. Or she's like wearing thongs and bikinis and just dressing like she's ready to go work a pole, if you get my drift, like one of the strip poles. So she's really just, I don't know what happened to this kid, and she actually acted in some horror movie when she was, I think right before she got, or somewhere around there, got this part in that Disney show from years ago, a couple years ago, not that long ago. That's what's weird too. This show called, what was it called? God, I can't remember. Some Disney show she was on anyway. And, she went from being, an innocent kid to looking like somebody who just came out of a strip joint. And, it just amazes me with these kids. And it's like, oh, well, she's just a kid. She doesn't know any better. Well, you can think that way, but don't be surprised you find her even, because most of these kids that start being, making it big. Look at Justin Bieber. He's a fucking mess. And the girls are even worse, the way they turn out most of the time. They turn out like to be monsters. I'm trying to think of the one who was really was a Disney kid from years ago and how she's a mess, the redheaded one. God, I should find a list of that. I'm going to put in Disney kids who went south. That one south. Because I can't remember her name. Because I know that one she played. Oh, let's see. I mean, yeah, the years ago that wasn't an issue. Here it is. God, she's on the top of the list. Lindsay Lohan. God, she's a fucking mess. Yeah, she's a whack job. But she was like on Disney, obviously Miley Cyrus. It says Dylan Sprouse. I've heard the name. It's Demi Lovato. She's a mess most of the time. Joe Jonas turned out pretty well. It says Monette Monica or something. I don't even know who that is. And then, but years ago, you're talking like probably in the 50s. Those kids grew up in their whole life. Like, I'm talking about Annette Funicello, or how you say her name. She didn't turn out like a freaking mess. So, and those, she literally was a little girl. She was a Mouseketeer, Annette, and she grew up to be like a normal person. No problems. Most of those kids, I mean, you're going to say, well, there was a lot that had problems. Even she had problems. Not to the extent that what I'm seeing nowadays. I mean, it's just way out of fucking control. There's no other way to say it. I just don't understand why it's so high. So, I don't know. It's just it's like a walk-in train wreck with these kids that are adults now. But they think they're kids, probably. That's probably what it is. They act like they're kids still. So they show their camel toe off. I know guys don't have camel toe. I'm trying to go through and shut down some stories so I can get to the ones I might have still had open that I didn't read. See if there's anything worth reading, too. Because some of these I actually read. That's what I'm trying to do. And by the way, it is almost an hour and a half, believe it or not. Yeah, some of these stories I've actually gone through before I even knew that I had them open already. This was another one from the morning call, by the way. This one's actually really disturbing. And there's 3 people now up on murder charges. Police charge 3 in the death of a motorist ambushed on PA highway. See, I drive everywhere. I do everything by myself, and this is really scaring me. It says Mercersburg. It looks like Mercerburg, PA. Pennsylvania police on Tuesday charged 3 people with conspiring to rob and kill a motorist who was ambushed after apparently stopping to examine a bag planted on a rural highway, Route 16, in the dead of night. So it was just a random bag, not like a little bag, a big bag. State police charged 3 McCullenberg residents with homicide, robbery. So it says homicide. That means the person they attacked, they killed, robbery, theft, and conspiracy in the death last week of Edward Charles Gilhart, 60 years old, of Hancock, Maryland. It says Ryan Lynn Horton, 27, Christine Sage Harris, 19, and Emily Bell Tucker, 21, were jailed without bail. Court records did not list defense lawyers for them. And they got mugshots of these people, by the way. It says police said Gilhart was on his way to work at about 4 a.m. Thursday when he stopped to check out the bag before Horton and Harris emerged from the hiding where they were hiding behind a rock. So, I'm trying to see to get to the point. So they attacked this guy and they robbed him and they murdered him. Harris alleged that Horton pointed his firearm. So basically, they had guns too, firearm at the victim, and at which that time the victim raised his hands and stated, "Don't shoot." So they obviously shot him anyway. Detectives wrote in the arrest affidavit. Harris told detectives Horton gave him $24 taken from Gilhart's wallet. So they killed the man for $24, these 3 people. It says police said Gilhart was shot in the shoulder and head, and his body was left in the road where the motorist in the pickup truck ran over him a short time later, and police were summoned. So people were running over this guy who was shot and killed. So that just shows you the kind of people live in Pennsylvania and everywhere else, actually. Harris told police Harris drove him home in Gilhart's car. So they stole his car, too, and Tucker said she followed in her own car as Harris drove the victim's vehicle 25 miles from the scene of the killing. So that is really, really bad. They shot and killed him. Motorists rode over his body, his dead body, that, this man was going to work. 4 o'clock in the morning, this guy was going to a job. And these people obviously don't have any jobs. There's actually a video with this, so you can kind of figure out what's going on and read the story. If you go to the morning call, by the way, and look for the story that is titled, "Police Charge 3 in the Death of a Motorist Ambushed on PA Highway." That stuff really scares me, by the way, these people. They really do. Because they don't have jobs. They don't want to work. And they feel like, again, like the one person at work, one friend at work, he would say, these people feel like they are entitled to everything. Like they don't deserve to work. They don't need to work for it. They deserve to have the stuff pretty much silver spoon to them. Like I should be given all this stuff. I don't need to work for it. It's mine. I deserve it. I mean, what kind of... This is our society nowadays. And you want another 8 years of this, by the way? You want another 8 years of people who don't feel the need that they need to work for a living. They feel like this should be given to them because they are special people. They've been mistreated, so they should be treated fairly by being handed everything. Even though they did nothing to that proves to me that they deserve to get this stuff, just give it to them. But they feel like, yeah, you owe me this stuff. This is something because I've been so mistreated. Now I want payback. Payback for what? What am I paying you back for? Why am I not getting paid back? Because I'm the one who's truly the victim, not you. I don't know. It just really pisses me off. Anyway, I saw this thing called IndieWire, and it says, I might have read a story about this same subject, but it's Quentin Tarantino. Project draws controversy over casting call for whores. I think he wants, I don't know what the deal is, what the name of the movie is. It says Hollywood sexism has another low moment last week. In Los Angeles-based casting agency posted a casting call on Facebook that read casting whores for Quentin Tarantino's project. I have no problem with it. Now, I get shot down for saying that. If somebody else said that, they would you're just taking it out of context. You don't understand what this whole thing's really about. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Sure, yeah, I'm making a big deal out of nothing, right? Yeah, I can't, I don't know, I just can't stand to begin with. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I've read about this before from Movie Creed Live, not from this source, though. It says Friday the 13th will be a full-on Voorhees family reunion. Jason's dad to be included also. I've seen this over and over again, so at this point I'm going to say this is going to actually happen, where they actually have developed another Friday the 13th that actually will start taking place eventually. So I had to put up this one other story, by the way, because, again, it just caught my interest about this gator. It's like a monster gator. It's just gotten out of hand because they found, I guess, so far that it's eaten literally this big gator that's like from, you ever see this movie? Look for a movie called Alligator from years ago. And it's about this kid. I remember the premise. This kid flushes, or the parents flush this little baby alligator down the toilet because they don't want the thing to get any bigger. So they try to kill it by flushing this alligator down the toilet. And from this movie, it was like a big thing back in the day because when I was a little kid, I remember this coming out. And them advertising this is like, yeah, this alligator becomes like the size of a monster and it starts eating people. It's like the most ridiculous thing, right? Not really, because now there's another story that was up 2 days ago or a couple days ago with this gator. Just literally, it's like a prehistoric size alligator. I mean, it's huge. Has gotten to the point now that it's spotted like with bodies hanging out of its mouth. Like the second one, they found the carcass of a human body that it's eaten. So it's become, and this is in Florida, by the way. So it's actually. Yeah, it's actually really, really serious. So, anyway, it says, large gator seen with man's body in its mouth in Lakeland, Florida. Lakeland police are investigating Lake Hunter, where a large alligator was seen in a man's body. The alligator had the man's body in its mouth. Tuesday at 1:40 p.m., the Florida Presbyterian home called 911 to report seeing an alligator in the lake that had a body in its mouth. So I'm assuming it's the same big, humongous alligator. It's like very dangerous. So that was on the thing. Let me shut that one down since I've read it now. One from the Dreamin' Demon. I haven't read anything there from Raul, right? Mother arrested after breaking son's fingers for not cleaning his apartment. Or cleaning apartment. Austin, Texas, a woman was arrested after she allegedly broke a 11-year-old son's fingers with a piece of lumber because he did not clean the house to her liking. Actually, I kind of like this woman. Hey, can we bring her to work? Because there's a couple people I know at work. I would pay her to do this too. If she could break their fingers for not cleaning cleaning the rooms at my job properly, I would pay her for it. I think it'd be actually worth the money, and I would pay her. Trust me, it'd be like hiring a hitman, but it'd be worth the dough. Now here's one: mother stops man from dragging her 13-year-old daughter from the Florida dollar store. What's going on in Florida? It looks Hernando, Florida. If my stories don't really have you afraid to take your eyes off your cherub, here's one where a man tries to drag a 13-year-old girl out of a dollar store, but has been stopped by the girl's mother and an off-duty officer who happened to be in the parking lot. So it was actually, of all places, that's really not a dollar store. It's Dollar General, though. Dollar General is actually more of a five and dime store for those who don't know. They just have the name dollar in the name, which kind of is misleading because everything is over a dollar. There's no such thing as anything being a dollar in a Dollar General because it's not a dollar store. This happened on Tuesday. A 30-year-old Craig it's an Italian name, too. Bonello, decided to kidnap the girl from inside a Dollar General while the mom shopped with her mother. Or the girl shopped with her mother. I'm kind of paraphrasing what it said. And it is caught on videotape, too. They do have surveillance cameras. We're supposed to get them, too. It says the guy was not a registered sex offender, but guess what? That's going to change, I'm sure. Wink, wink. So, yeah, I mean, there's some, wacky stories. I'll tell you that much. You know what? That might be the end of my show tonight. It's going to be a little longer, so I apologize for that. But, sometimes I can do that. It's about the right amount of time, but it's maybe a little longer. So that being said, before I even sign off, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, that's another thing that's really depressing. Guess who is supporting Hillary Clinton at this point? Well, it won't be a shock to you. It is, though, a shock to me because I really, really adore Lady Gaga, but guess who she's supporting again? She is, oh wow. She is supporting Hillary Clinton. And it's like, you got to be crazy because there's so many people who really, I'm sorry, I'm looking at something. Oh, wow. Wow, this is really scary. I might mention this because I'm speaking about Hillary Clinton. But she's going to have she has so many people who believe, really believe in Lady Gaga. They worship her, the ground she steps on. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Lady Gaga, but now I'm going to have some second thoughts. Now, my friend Matt says you're not going to go to her concerts or endorse her anymore. It's like, well, I don't know about that. I might actually, because I do like her music, but I'm kind of feeding the cause. I understand that, but yeah, she's going to support Hillary Clinton. Now, that being said, there's some union, because I'm of a union, but there's this one called the United Steelworkers. It shouldn't shock me. It says the USW, International Executive Board, voted today and has issued the following statement regarding the endorsement of Hillary Clinton. The USW, in conjunction with the Utility Workers Union of America and the Glass Molders, Pottery, Plastics, and Allied Workers International Union, issued the following statement today endorsing Hillary Clinton for President of the United States. Do you realize, people who are of fellow union companies, do they really not realize, it looks like they are not aware that you're signing your own death, your own death note or whatever you want to call it. This is not the way you want to go. You would think a company or a union would more so, to get jobs back in our country, would do the complete opposite. They would vote for Donald Trump. But no, they're actually going to vote for the person who's going to take more jobs away from fellow union employers. And if not even that, but they're signing their own death warrant in the sense that you're signing your own thing like you don't want to work. So I just don't understand that. I mean, any union person who supports this person is crazy. Because if you vote for Hillary Clinton, you don't realize that's going to entitle more illegal immigrants to more power, and they're going to take your job away because you're bitching and complaining that you're not making enough money, or you think that that the amount of money you make is not enough to live on. Then why would you vote for Hillary Clinton, who's going to give your job to an illegal immigrant who will be more than happy to work your job at the rate of maybe $10 an hour or less? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, do you realize that you're taking your job now and you're giving it away to somebody else who will do your job for much, much less, like literally $10 an hour? I'm talking for people who are, again, fellow union employers of some sort. So, I guess, I said this at the beginning of my show, and now I guess I'm right that, Hillary might get it, and that's bad. That's scary enough. But the real part that's even more of a nightmare, it really is not funny, by the way. You're not gonna have a job. You're not gonna even have a country. You're gonna be kicked out of your own fucking country at this rate. So hey, congratulations, these union places for being so stupid. Really. God, I thought I could end up on a high note, but that's not going to happen, I guess, at this point. I don't have any good stories to tell. So, well, there's some pictures I could talk about, but it's kind of not worth it. I see some pictures of Patty Mullen put up. She's gone to other comic book conventions, but I'm sorry, folks. I guess there will not be an uplifted note tonight. But yeah, that being said, I guess I just don't understand. I just wish I did. So, God, I'm depressed now. But folks, this is Walter, by the way, from iWalter. And as I always say, thank you for listening to me. I do appreciate it. It's a little longer tonight. And if you do listen, I appreciate it. Just get other people to also follow me as well. And all I can say now is I'm just going to sign off for now at a little after 4 o'clock in a.m. And I'm still alive for now, so I'm happy about that too. Have a good morning, everyone. This is Walter from iWalter. Signing off. And it might be this weekend too, because tomorrow will be Friday, and then I'll be not really going to have the time to do much because I'll be down in the city again. Thanks again for listening.